Inverse trigonometric functions. Let's recall inverses. Suppose we have graph for fx. Inverse of fx can be obtained by flipping the graph along the diagonal, that is the line y is equal to x. All of you know line y equal to x passes through the origin. So inverses are the mirror images. So graph of f inverse x is this. We will consider trigonometric functions now. Suppose fx is equal to sine x. Let's recall graph of sine x. Does this function have an inverse? No. Why? What type of function is this? It is not 1 to 1, but it is many to 1. Therefore, its inverse does not exist as it does not pass the horizontal line test. That means the horizontal line intersects this graph in many points. That is, for a particular value of y, there are many values possible for x. Do any of the 6 trigonometric functions have inverses? Let's see their graphs. You will observe that all these functions are many 1. Therefore, they don't have inverses. Now, is it possible to make fx equal to sine x 1, 1? So, our function is fx is equal to sine x. On the entire domain, this function is many to 1 and we want to make it 1, 1. So, if we restrict the domain to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, then for every y there will be exactly one x. So we have found one branch of this graph which is 1, 1 and on 2. There are many branches possible. For example, you may consider interval minus 3 pi by 2 to minus pi by 2. Or interval pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2, etc. So many such branches are possible, but we consider branch minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, and this one is called as the principal branch. So we consider interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Fx is equal to sine x, where x belongs to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Now find the graph by flipping along the diagonal. So we get graph for fx is equal to sine inverse x. It is also denoted as arc of sine x or inverse sine of x. Now domain for this function is minus 1 to 1 and range is minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. What exactly is the sine inverse x? Sine inverse x is an angle, sine ratio of which is x. That means sine inverse x is equal to theta, such that sine theta is equal to x. Now let's consider few examples. Suppose we want to find value of sine inverse of minus half. So let's consider domain minus 1 to 1. So on the x-axis we consider minus 1 to 1. Y-axis we consider minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Now minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 means we consider first quadrant and fourth quadrant. First quadrant is 0 to pi by 2 and fourth quadrant is minus pi by 2 to 0. Or you can say 0 to minus pi by 2. Sine inverse of minus half we want to find. Now minus half corresponds to minus pi by 6. Therefore sine inverse of minus half is minus pi by 6. Next, sine inverse of half. Now half corresponds to pi by 6. Therefore sine inverse of half is equal to pi by 6. Next one is sine inverse of sine pi by 3. Value of sine pi by 3 is root 3 by 2. So sine inverse of root 3 by 2 we want to find. This corresponds to angle pi by 3. Then sine inverse of sine phi pi by 4. Sine of phi pi by 4, its value is minus 1 by root 2. Now we'll have to always consider value which lies between minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. So in this case, sine inverse of minus 1 by root 2 corresponds to minus pi by 4. Similarly, we will consider fx is equal to cos x. This function can also be made 1, 1 by restricting the domain to 0 to pi, close interval 0 to pi. That means we are going to consider now first quadrant and the second quadrant. We can find the graph of cos inverse x by flipping along the diagonal. So fx is equal to cos inverse x or arc of cos x or inverse cosine of x is this graph, whose domain is close interval minus 1 to 1 and range is close interval 0 to pi. Let's find few values. Cos inverse of minus half is equal to 2 pi by 3. Minus half corresponds to 2 pi by 3. Then cos inverse of half is equal to pi by 3. Cos inverse of cos pi by 6. Now we know value of cos of pi by 6 is root 3 by 2. So cos inverse of root 3 by 2 will correspond to pi by 6. Then cos inverse of cos 5 pi by 4. Value of cos 5 pi by 4 is minus 1 by root 2. You can easily find value of cos 5 pi by 4. Cos of 5 pi by 4 means pi plus pi by 4. So we get value negative because the angle is in the third quadrant. So minus 1 by root 2 and cos inverse of minus 1 by root 2 corresponds to 3 pi by 4. So while considering sine inverse, you must get the answer in the interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, and for cos inverse we will try to get the answer in the interval 0 to pi. For sine inverse, principal branch is minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, and for cos inverse, principal branch is 0 to pi.